Luna Abyss is a beautiful looking first person shooter, and while I did enjoy a lot of my time with it, I just wish that there was a little bit more to do in this incredibly detailed and strange looking world. At some point in our history, a mysterious red moon appears over the Earth, and we decide to try and colonize it, and of course horrible things happen. And it's now many years in the future, and the moon has turned into its own penal colony for dissenters and prisoners to try and work off their time by exploring the disturbingly horrific abyss. And we play one such prisoner who has been sent down, and we're going to uncover a mystery while trying to commute our prison sentence at the same time. As I said in the stinger, Luna Abyss is very similar in terms of its general feel to that of the Metroid Prime FPSs, in that you have the ability to lock onto enemies, thereby removing any need to worry about aiming, and instead focus more on movement and position. The enemies themselves all fall into basic patterns, and as the game goes on, the kind of main element that gets introduced is that different enemies will have different shields, and your various weapons can be used to puncture those shields and then allow them to take full damage. Each weapon, instead of having ammo, has a kind of cooling period. If you keep using it too much, you have to wait for the weapon to cool down before you use it again. And there are upgrades to weapons, but they occur by finding specific power-ups in the world. There's no real kind of like RPG or like progression in that respect. Everything is handled in set places. And speaking of set places, as I said, the game is absolutely gorgeous to look at, with some very like brutalist environments to wide open places to some very strange creatures that are trying to kill you. And as the game goes on, it becomes kind of more on the bullet hell side, as enemies begin to start to fill the screen with bullets of all shapes and colors, as well as kind of exploding bomb enemies who you need to deal with fast. And to its credit, the game does provide some really great defensive maneuvers and a little bit in the form of push-forward combat. While you can find healing and recovery at the various save points, your main way to heal in the game is that when enemies' health kind of hits like almost dead, they go into a stagger animation, and you can use a special move to kill and absorb them to gain health. Now if you're already at full health, you can hold the button down a little bit longer and the enemy detonates into shrapnel that will hit all the other enemies nearby, thereby allowing you to speed up combat. And this becomes very important because boss fights do not have any health pickups. You'll have to use any adds that come in as your only form of healing. And as another little bit of nastiness that Luna Abyss has, is that there are no iframes when you're taking damage. If the enemy throws 50 bullets at you and you don't get out of that way, you're going to eat 50 bullets worth of damage, which on the higher difficulty will basically mean death. There are a lot of platforming sections that come up, and you'll unlock some of the good old-fashioned staples of double jumping. You'll be able to kind of ride rails or grind rails, and there's more as the game progresses. And while all this sounds great as a template, the main issue that I have with Luna Abyss is that it started to get just really repetitive. As we said, the enemies themselves all fall into very basic patterns. This is not going to be anywhere close to like a more modern day shooter, the Doom shooters, anything like that, in terms of really engaging gunplay. You can just basically stand still, lock on, and blast enemies, move left or right. When you do get the defensive shield, it does help when you get into the more bullet hell spammy fights, but it all started just kind of like blur together. And I really wish there was more to the level design, as every level is very much a linear section that you're going through from arena to arena, platforming section to platforming section, etc, etc. While you can find hidden collectibles and lore, again, none of that is translating into better weapons, better upgrades, other than the ones that you get at fixed points. And I did have some issues with some of the weapons and some of the general play when we were looking at this at 1.0. For some reason, sometimes my sniper rifle just refused to hit the enemy, despite me aiming right at them while locked on. We also ran into a very fun bug on opening night, when one of the platforms you needed to jump on to progress an area did not spawn in, or didn't actually have like a hitbox to land on, so I kept falling right through the platform. I'm pretty sure that has been fixed by the time you're watching this. Luna Abyss is going to be for someone who's looking for a very beautiful FPS, and again, one that's not going to be too demanding in terms of shooting. If you're horrible at aiming, the lock-on the game has will kind of serve you all the way through from beginning to end. But if you're someone who's looking for a bit more meat to their Metroidvania style shooting, then I don't think the game's going to quite work for you. Luna Abyss was played with a review key provided by the developer. If you took your game for a future stream and review, be sure to get in touch. I'm curious for those of you who play this, what did you think of it? And with that, we'll be back with more design talks and indie game reviews coming soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.